This is the Retirement Solution Podcast with financial advisor John Hicks, founder of J. Hagan Capital.
There are so many things that we just have in our mind and we assume that they're correct because we've heard them 100,000 times. We got to get rid of all those myths. If you've done a great job saving, you'd be surprised what you can accomplish when you use the right strategies. Most people just aren't aware of them.
You've worked hard your whole life to earn and save. Now you need a plan to make that money work hard for you.
So people that have sacrificed opportunities to spend money, they sacrificed by putting the money in that 401k. They've sacrificed by putting that money in a 529 college plan for their grandkids. Those types of sacrifices should go rewarded in the long run.
John is here to help you find solutions for your retirement.
Glad to have you along with us here on WHAS for more of the Retirement Solution with John Hicks, who is here on the radio each week offering ideas and insight on ways to better prepare for your financial future. 502-317-0840 is the number to dial with your questions about your own retirement savings plan, a local family-owned business, offices in Louisville. John and his team are here to help you get some answers. Again, it's 502-317-0840. You can also find us online anytime, retirementsolutionradio.com. And while we're on the digital space conversation, did you see this article about the Merriam-Webster.com word additions for the year?
No.
Oh, they added 370 new words to the dictionary this year.
Oh my. Are they all from TikTok?
No. No, they're not. You'll be happy to know that they did add pumpkin spice.
Really? They added that as a... Oh, my God. Okay.
Pumpkins. This one's one of my favorites. This one is... Okay, where is it? It is... Wait for it. Scrolling. Dumb phone. That's what it is. D-U-M-B phone. Dumb phone. All one word. It is like the anti-smartphone. I think it's what we call the burner phones.
Really?
But they don't... Yeah. But the cool kids, I guess, are calling them dumb phones now.
So smartphones, of course, the one that the majority of us have. But like every once in a while, I'll see someone go and reach in their pocket. And they pull out this thing, and I'm like, oh, my gosh.
Yep.
I think that was from the movie Wall Street with Michael Douglas in 1989. Look at that thing. And I'll be danged. Dumb phone. But it works. And that's just what they always say. John, it works. you back right off. You back right off my phone. And I'm like, I get you.
I do too.
I don't. I have great reception. I have no problems. It fits in my pocket and it holds a charge.
And
John.
It doesn't cost $1,600.
Those stupid phone companies thinking I'm going to give them all my money. No, I don't need it. And I get it. Dumb phone.
Dumb phone. They also added some of the terms that we've used here on this radio program. Shrinkflation has gone into the dictionary. Underbanked.
That shouldn't go in.
It is.
Well, hold on. What?
Underbanked.
Underbanked?
Not using or having access to a full range of banking options.
That is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. There's one person at a bank that made that up. Mm-mm. You're underbanked. This is why you need to buy all of our crud. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't, that's...
Side hustle, another word we've used here on this program.
Absolutely.
All of these things go back to the biggest thing that retirees have to think about, which is, of course, having that income stream after they leave the 9-to-5 behind and ways to create that income stream. We've talked ad nauseum all the different options, not just obviously Social Security and what your savings generate for you, but things like Airbnbs and that nature. The idea of what folks are most concerned about, it continues on. There was this new survey of near retirees that found 33.
What are near retirees?
Those are folks
per the definition here.
That's going to be those
between 3 to 5 years before they get to retirement?
Between 60 and 65, but not yet retired.
Okay, got it.
Is what this range is.
Perfect.
33% of these folks were terrified to give up their paycheck.
Did they use the word terrified?
That's what it says.
Oh, check it out.
55% don't believe they will be able to replace even 75% of their current paycheck. And how do we go about relieving these constant worries?
I mean, I think the biggest issue, and this is why I have a lot of people that, I've been working with for years and years. Mm-hmm. And Heather, they still work a little bit. Mm-hmm. And there's a bunch of reasons why people work. Now, my father, who was a small town lawyer, sat on the bench in the western part of the state. Mm-hmm. And, he loved it. He was passionate about the law. He was passionate about people. And people, even after he passed away, I got cards for months and months afterward from people that had gone to law school with him and they'd lost touch, but then they found out that he had passed. Yeah. And they would always say, your father was probably the most honest, the most ethical, probably the best steward of the law that we probably ever met. And I was like, this didn't come from one person. This came from all kinds of people. And I was like, that's amazing. But that's what kept my dad going, right? He kept going because he just loved it. It wasn't the money. It was something that he was passionate about. So some of us do it for that reason. But there's a lot of other of us, we're just fearful that, hey, what if there's not enough money to do the things that we need to do? What if we get a big problem with the roof and insurance doesn't cover it? What if the hot water heater blows up in the middle of our Thanksgiving dinner or whatever happens there? What happens if these things happen? I don't know that we've saved enough money to account for all the emergencies. And so I have so many clients that even now they think to themselves, well, I still want to keep working a little bit. And guys, the craziest thing about all of this is these fears many times, and I would like it to be in writing, we can solve those fears mathematically. Now, I'm not talking about, hey, we're just going to do a bunch of prayers and just hope and pray. Those are two bad plans to be made, where we're just hoping and just praying. Now, I do both. But the thing of it is we don't want our plan based on those.
That's right.
What we want to do is we want to base it on mathematics, and it's very simple to find out how you can derive income from your savings. For instance, Heather, there is one of the concepts that I was talking about several weeks ago, and I know I've addressed it many times. There are different strategies on how we pull money out of our retirement savings. If we're pulling money from an IRA, like many of us have our money in our 401k, but typically I want everyone to convert those 401ks into individually owned IRAs, because you have myriad more options, which is a fancy word from saying a whole bunch more options. You can do almost anything under the sun you want if you have your own self-directed IRA. You can put them in CDs. You can do annuities. You can do individual stocks. You can do exchange-traded funds. You can do mutual funds. Boo. If you felt like you had to, but I would like you to learn the better things that you can do that are cheaper for you, and that you have more control and they're more tax efficient, like exchange traded funds. But the whole idea of doing that IRA is that you can generate an income stream right now because interest rates are finally better. You can pull out, and I did this last week, I found that we can pull out almost 8% a year from a client's portfolio, and they will not run out of money for 25 years.
Wow.
I mean, this is amazing. No, you cannot do this with most strategies that I ever see out there, and you can never do this with mutual funds. But there are other investment strategies that we can use, and they're not specific. There's all kinds of things that you can put in that model where you can actually pull 8% a year from your investments, and the money will last for a minimum of 20 years. Guys, that satisfies so many fears. Because if a lot of us have been thinking, well, I'm just going to pull out 4% a year from my portfolio, guys, that doubles your income. It doubles your income in that situation. So imagine thinking, oh my gosh, I can't replace all, I'm terrified, to use a word from this article here. I'm terrified that I'm not going to have a big enough paycheck. Well, don't worry about what you've saved. How can you pull more? How can you use different strategies to get more out of what you have, right? The way that I was raised, we did not waste anything in our kitchen. If we cut the ends off of the carrots, because we didn't, buy those pretty carrots in the bags, we got them from the local farmer's market, and they had all those ends on them, the big green tufts at the end. My mom would always put those in the crock pot to make stock with all the other ends and whatevers from the vegetables we had. And we always had stock that way. And the amazing thing is when I think back how great that those things tasted, because we didn't waste anything. So if we've saved money, it's exactly the same thing, guys. We want to make sure that we're not wasting our strategy design. We can get more from what we've saved. I always think about it just think about it being a good steward of what we've saved, right? So we can fix the income problem. We can fix where our paycheck comes from. Maybe we can't get more money saved right now. Maybe we're really worried because we've lost money in this market. We don't want to lose more, but we keep hearing from our guy, hey, just stay the course or you may not be able to make it. That is maybe really bad advice. Maybe if you want to retire in the next year or two. Because guys, I promise you one thing. I remember 2008. Maybe you guys do too. But when the market went down, it started going down in the very end of 2007. By the time it went fully down, it was March of 2009. That was a pretty long time to go down, but the market was down almost 50%. It did not get back to even, Heather, for most people until 2013. Think about that. It started going down in 2007. And it didn't get back until 2000. That's 6 years, guys.
Yeah.
If you want to retire in the next 6 years, and this is not a possibility, this literally happened the last time. And that was when the Fed said, hey, we're going to print money. We're going to do quantitative easing. We're going to make things easier on us so that we can hopefully get out of this mess. They are not saying that this time.
Right.
Now they're saying, and now I'm sounding like Ken Rogoff from that last thing where he's like, oh, doom and gloom. It's a dumpster fire in Europe. Everything's trouble. I don't mean to sound bad, but I do mean that we have to make decisions that are going to impact us positively.
Right.
Even if we have a negative environment all the way around us, right? We can solve for this, but we're going to have to use different strategies to do that. And guys, they are not only available because the Fed has raised these interest rates. There are things that I would have said that could not be done 3 years ago. There were things that could not have been done, Heather, even 7 months ago that now, because what we have access to, we can get CD rates, literally certificates of deposit, paying in excess of 5% for shorter terms. We can get treasuries that are paying 4.5% to 5% with full liquidity. There are things that finally we have access to that frankly make portfolios work 10 times better. And get this, they will not go down like bonds have. People have lost so much money in the bond portion of their portfolio because that was what they were told to do. But guys, you cannot pull an income from lost money. There are so many things that we now have access to where not only can we get rid of being terrified of a paycheck, we can actually lock in that paycheck where we know we're going to get that 5, 6, 7, 8%, guys, 8% distribution rate if that's what we need. If we don't need that much income, we certainly don't have to take that much income, which would change your strategy a little bit. That's perfectly fine. We want a customized approach on how we want to attack retirement. We do not want the market factors out there attacking us and making us scared. So just think about it for 1 second. If you could double your income without having to save more money, would that potentially change your likelihood of hitting your retirement goals? Maybe it would. If you could just get 50% more income from what you've currently saved because you had a different income strategy, might that be good? And what if you could just make sure you didn't lose more if we do have a down another year or 2 more years? Guys, if you solve these problems, you solve a lot of what this article was talking about. We're going to get those sleepless nights out of the way, and we're going to get rid of that terrified situation. The only thing we'll be terrified about is our grandkids with their sticky fingers all in our cars.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Solution Podcast with John Hicks. Begin the conversation about your savings plan with John and the team at J. Hagan Capital by visiting retirementsolutionradio.com. Be sure to listen to John's radio show, The Retirement Solution, Saturdays at 8 a.m. and Sundays at 9 a.m. on News Radio 840 WHAS.
J. Hagan Capital Inc. is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if J. Hagan Capital Inc. is licensed in your state, please call 502-690-5635. J. Hagan Capital Inc. is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. It does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Jonathan Hicks, insurance license number 548962.